Yes, it's me, it's Benedict, and while I have your attention, I thought it would be a good idea to introduce you to some animation from my own country. Specifically, my newly adopted home country of Scotland. What have we given to the world of animation? Well, we made that animated Christmas Carol movie on Netflix last December, and of course the GTA games need no introduction, but we're not going to be talking about either of those today. Instead, we're going to be talking about a little TV show known simply as... OOglies! Yes, thank you, voice from the X Factor. Created by BBC Scotland and narrated by Peter Dixon, the voice from the X Factor, OOglies, so called because every character has googly eyes, follows the basic concept of what does so-and-so do when you aren't looking. The show was animated in Glasgow and aired on CBBC from 2009 to, well, the present day actually. And it's my first review of a stop-motion animation as well. Now the episode I'll be reviewing is the first episode of Season 1, called Episode 1. Now get your peepers peeping, cause it's time to face the OOglies! The first thing we get in each episode is a warning for alleged craziness.
No circumstances should children or silly adults attempt to do any of the actions you see in the program.
So what insanity do we see? Not exactly crazy. Oops! Okay, never mind. This is way too violent for CBeebies. This is followed by the opening titles, which really emphasises the googly gimmick. After which we see a trio of egg bikers about to perform a stunt. Two of them make the jump, but one of them, well... Next we see some conkers, engaged in a game of, well, conkers. In conkers, that move is known as cheating. Next we see a pair of amorous strawberries, separated by an inconvenient gap in the kitchen. So the Romeo builds, with much trial and error, a bridge of spaghetti to his Juliet. Only for fate to pull a Tacoma Narrows on him. Yeah, I suppose you could say he fell in love. Next up is a group of vegetables gossiping, when a Brussels sprout comes rolling along and they all try and hide. But one of the parsnips jumps out at the wrong time. Next we see what looks like Lil Jon's magnet soda. Are magnet sodas a thing? It's not impossible, it is the internet. Anyway, Mr. Magnetic here finds himself attracting a jar of nails, so he tries to hide behind a plank of wood. But he gloats too soon and this happens. Now we see a pair of soap bars. I'm sorry, what I mean is a pair of radical extreme soap bars! They both slide around the house until... Well, it is a show aimed at 8-year-old boys, so what do you expect? Then we see a computer mouse that only goes in straight lines. This becomes a problem when it bumps into a bowl of custard and doesn't think to go around it. Instead, it tries to pull a "we're going on a bear hunt" and go through it. Just goes to show that computers aren't as creative or smart as some people seem to think. This is followed by some fruit on a hot day, when an orange comes along and insists they should all go for a swim. Why does that swimming pool look like a... blender? Moving on. A potato on the counter then gets toasted by a stampede of chili peppers. Well, that's one way of getting a baked potato. Next we go down to the cellar, where a torch is just about to go to sleep. As he does though, some strange figures start dancing around. I've heard that carrots help you see in the dark, but that is ridiculous. Pretty soon the torch has all the carrots tied up, literally. Next we have a pair of balls, one grumpy, another bouncy and energetic. The bouncy ball annoys the grumpy ball. So the grumpy ball deflates him. Bit nasty, but still, what other personality would you give to a bouncing ball? So the next item on the list is a sausage train, which trundles along through the house, picks up some passengers, and makes it to its destination just in time for breakfast. Having someone collecting their breakfast does raise a question. What exactly do people look like in this universe? This? Now we see a stunt tomato looking to show some other tomatoes on the vine a little trick with a rubber band. Of course, it all goes pear-shaped, or tomato-shaped in this case. I'd give that stunt a splatty tomato if he didn't already do that to himself. Then we come to some donut builders. The foreman tells the others not to step in the cake mix. Guess what happens? I like to think that he got the tip. Next, a pencil makes a break from a pencil case. Then the pencil notices a drawing pad and decides to draw a monster. Yeah, that is a pretty naughty pencil. Speaking of naughty, here's a pepper pot that likes making others sneeze. Obvious joke. But still not any less hilarious. Then we go back to the basement, where a light bulb suddenly becomes interested in a toy helicopter flying around her.
Stupid death, hope next time it's not you.
After a brief one-off skit where a phone reacts in terror to its own ringing, we get some curious mushrooms. Now this for some reason was always my favourite part of the show, probably because of the ooga ooga thing they're always saying. The mushrooms discover a plastic bottle and decide to blow into it. Only for it to blow them away, literally. Then we see a cracked cookie, whose cry for help is answered by a bunch of cherries. Well, that's animation for you. Where else do you have the imagination to have cherries flying a mixer? They get to the cookie and then... Well, at least they're still better than private healthcare. Now some peas come to a mountain of mashed potatoes. Two of them slide down while one of them reaches the summit and then snowballs down. Or possibly potato ball. Either way, it's a cute gag. Then a sausage is placed onto the kitchen counter, who is then stalked by an evil pizza cutter, apparently called Sol the Slice. And then Sol the Slice slices the sausage, but then the pieces come to life and chase Sol off. And then a banana peel slips around uncontrollably. Again, obvious joke. but also again not any less hilarious. And finally, a peanut comes out to play the theme song as the credits roll. So that was OOglies. So how well does it... How well does... pardon me, he was throwing me off. So that was OOglies. So, does it hold up? No. Hold Up doesn't even begin to cover how great this show is. I'm not kidding, this show is still amazing 15 years after it first aired. The animation is very distinctive and it really sells each character's movements in a very believable way. And the humour is great too. Pretty much all of the jokes land, even ones that are quite obvious. And the whole concept still fires my imagination even as a jaded 20-something. Overall, this show is an excellent example of Scottish animation, so I make no hesitation in giving this show a score of 10 points. If you haven't seen this already, I really recommend you check this one out. I can promise you won't be disappointed. Look, this was an old childhood favourite of mine, I wanted to talk about it, and learning that it was Scottish meant I had the perfect excuse to talk about it, so can you blame me? Well, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more reviews, and, well, you know the drill, I'll see you next month. I'll see you then.
What do you want to make those eyes at me for? Well, they don't mean what they say. They make me glad, they make me sad. Oh, they'll make you want to laugh.